Hi everyone, good morning. This is Scott Fischetti from Geopath, and I'm here with, as always, Brian Schopper from Geopath.
Good morning, everybody.
Great. So thank you for joining us on this, well, at least in New York City, rainy Friday morning. We appreciate everybody's attendance here. So, we've been doing these sessions at the end of each month since May. So this is our May, June, July, August. So this is our fifth month of doing these, and I'm going to run them pretty much the same. So basically, if you've attended these before, you pretty much know what to expect. We're going to walk through the Insight Suite overall, I know there's a lot of you that have attended these, but there's also a number of people I noticed that it's their first time joining, so I want to make sure everybody gets at least a general sense of the Insight Suite overall, and then we'll dig down into the new key features and updates. And there's been some significant updates since the August session that we ran, so I'm excited. We're all excited to show you those, and then we'll talk about them, and then we'll dig in and demonstrate them. And as always, we just want to show you where you could find support if you ever run into issues, and how you can provide us feedback, because it is super helpful for us. And again, as I've mentioned before, part of the reason why we're doing these monthly is because the tool is always changing, right? We're in this agile development process, and so what that means is every couple of weeks there's something new being added to the tool. So I would encourage everyone to check in with the tool, in between these sessions, because things are changing every 2 weeks, if not more frequently sometimes. One of the key things right now, we're at a point where we're starting to be able to add more and more audiences in, and that's happening at a lot faster cadence than some of the other feature changes and functionality changes. So one thing, I always want to mention is that the tool is still in beta, and what that really means is that basically the impression data is for non-commercial use, right? So if you're needing to respond to an RFP or fill out a grid, or responding to a pitch, the impression data that you would want to use is from our ADS platform or whatever other tool that you currently pull that information for. The Insight Suite is not the currency of the industry just yet. That said, we get questions all the time of like, what can I do with this? How can I use this? And there are ways that you can start to use the tool in your daily kind of workflow. And basically, one of the things I think that's really interesting that you can use the tool for is, because we have all these audiences in there right now, you can start to look at what inventory kind of over-indexes, or has a high number of impressions, or whatever the key KPI you're looking at is, which inventory kind of over-indexes, so to speak, for that target you're trying to reach. And I'll show you that when we get into the tool. But again, I always want to say, please continue to explore and provide us feedback. That is super helpful for us. So if you haven't been in the tool yet, just a couple of quick slides on what you're going to see. Much more interactive, much more visual than any of our current tools. So you'll start by seeing to be dropped off in the Explore area, and you'll be able to zoom in and really have an interactive map that you can look at inventory and filter inventory in real time by. So the other thing is, we heard loud and clear from our members as we were developing this tool, audience is key for us, right? And that's in two ways. We have that, or we're trying to address that. The number of audience attributes is going to be exponentially higher than in the current set of suite of tools. I think right now we have about somewhere around 400 to 600 different attributes. That's in ADS I'm speaking about. But that's going to go up to well around 7,000, 7,500 different attributes, different unique attributes, that is. And right now in the tool, you'll see in a moment, there's about, I think, 600 different attributes or more, actually, with a combination of demographic, population types of attributes, and some behavioral attributes. And last but not least, every location that we audit is mapped, and there's a lot of detailed information on each of those units that are in there. You'll see, you can flip over the card, and there's a lot of information on where it's drawing audience from, what are kind of the weekly metrics, as well as what are audiences that this unit over indexes for. So there's a lot of really interesting information, and then you have the ability to filter and look at, audience measures in terms of impression, composition. There's a bunch of different indexes or indices in there, as well as your other common things like reach and frequency and ratings. Oh, you know what? One thing before I jump into the new features in this release, as always, just feel free to ask us any questions throughout the webinar. I apologize, I forgot to mention that. I just kind of jumped right into the session. So definitely we'll pause and we'll try to address questions as they come in. Brian will stop me and we'll try to address any question in a moment, so it's a little more relevant as we're going through. So new features in this release. So one of the things we're really excited about is, like I said, we're at a point where we're able to now add more and more audiences in more frequently. And so the interface that helps us do that has been updated as well. So it's a little bit easier to use than the scrolling list. But you can also start to combine attributes and define them. You can actually save frequently used audiences. So if there's if you're working on a pitch or putting together a package and you want to keep using the same audience, you're able to do that and save that. And as I hinted at already in this next slide, you're able to combine certain audiences. That is coming online more and more, and you're going to be able to combine more and more audiences. But again, we're working on that in the back end. That's more of a kind of data back end thing than anything, because we need to cache all those different combinations. So that is happening as we speak, and more audiences will be able to be combined. And I know I often get the question, hey Scott, I was actually on the road this week talking to some members and actually some non-members, and I was asked, can we combine, different behavioral things with demographic attributes? Not yet, but that is coming, right? Over time, we will be able to do like, males 18 to 24 with, some different attributes. So those kinds of things will be in the near future, hopefully. As I mentioned, you can save your audiences. You can create a custom name for them. And if you, are done with that and you don't really need to have that audience anymore, want to clean it out, you can also kind of delete or add kind of sub comments about the audience. Use this for Starbucks, use this for my Wendy's. So you can add different aspects to it as well. So those are all really great and kind of helping with the way to manage and use the different audiences we have in there. Also in the workspace, if you've had a chance to explore that yet, that's where you start to create projects and scenarios underneath. So for example, if you're working for a client and trying to put together different kind of scenarios or packages, you can start to use the workspace for that. And we talked about that in the July session. So I'm not going to go super deep into that on the call today, but if you need information on that or want to find out more about that, you would go to the July sessions. And those are all posted on our website and our YouTube channel, and I'll show you before we get off the call where you can go find those. But just wanted to talk about a new feature is that you can use the, when you're in the workspace, you can actually create new audiences from actually the workspace section. So not always having to go into the Explore panel to create your audience and then go back into the workspace. You can do it right from the workspace section. And you could choose your saved audiences, or you can actually create a unique audience there as well. And so here is a kind of a nice overview of, at a kind of categorical level, all of the different audiences that are available as of today in the tool itself. And you can see demographic profiles, so broken down into different age ranges, ethnicities, genders, et cetera, as well as household profiles. So presence of children in the home, who's the head of the household, marital status, mortgage level, and then other behaviors, so commute patterns, languages spoken in the home, a lot of different things there. And those on the other side, more of your consumer behavior. So if you recall, we had kind of an existing set of 8 different attributes. Those are still in there, but we've added a ton of automotive categories, as well as new information, new kind of categories on restaurants. So that's things like, been to a QSR in the past 30 days, and that you can break that down by brands, by time of day. So I've been there. I've been to Burger King for lunch. I've been to Burger King for dinner. I've been to Burger King for breakfast. All of those types of attributes are in there, as well as family sit down and like, you know, your fast casual, et cetera, are all in there. There's also a series around politics and voting. And then coming soon, and then I believe the next release, which happens next week, some more attributes on retail/shopping, as well as finance-related attributes as well. So again, like I said, keep checking in, and hopefully if your audience you're looking for isn't there today, it'll be there next week. The other thing I skipped over is the Prism Premier, and just for clarification on what that is our partner for the demographics is Claritas, and they have their own proprietary segmentation product, and we're able to leverage that and pull that in as well. So those are, I know a lot of times agencies might work with that, or their clients might be using those. So it's great that we have them available. And there's a lot of more information. If you're unfamiliar with them, there's more information on what the segments are and who they're really talking about in the tool itself. And I'll show you where that information is as well. Cool. Okay, so just moving on. The other thing that we're really excited about is previously we were able to, when you were filtering down inventory, you were able to create your own custom like polygon if you wanted to just highlight an area or a neighborhood, but now you can do a radius. So you can determine the distance you want and change the radius just by pointing and dragging your mouse, and the tool auto just reset and just show you inventory in that radius around whatever, 10-mile radius, 15-mile, etc. And then also, if you recall from the August sessions, if you had a chance to visit and see those, a new feature was the places. So points of interest are now included in the tool. So now you can create your place set and input that into your location, or into your Explorer area, and now draw radius around each of the different points of interest. And again, I know that's a common thing that we often need to do. Hey, I have this Dunkin' Donuts. I need to see all the inventory, you know, within the 5-mile radius around this Dunkin' Donuts area. I feel like all my references are around food all the time. So sorry, I'll get more diverse with that. So anyhow, this is an example of what it looks like. I'll show you in the tool when we get in. And then just going back to how that's incorporated into the workspace, because again, ultimately this will be a key area that you will start to come to, and maybe more of a launching point even than the Explorer tool. So you can also pull into any project your grouping of points of interest as well there. And again, we'll do a quick example. This is from the Places tool. So now you can pull in a places set of places that you've saved previously, pull them into your map in the Places segment as well. So. And then another nice feature is more of a usability aspect. We have a Reset All button there now. So once you're done doing your filtering and going through one scenario and you just want to reset, start from zero again, you just hit that and you can do that as well. So that's a nice little feature that I find very helpful as I'm using it. So Brian's checking in. Any questions?
Nope, nothing yet.
Cool. All right, so we'll jump into the tool, and again, as always, just stop me as I'm going along. Happy to answer any questions. So once you log in, you use unified user credentials. If anybody doesn't have them, is having trouble logging in, reach out to us at geekout@geopath.org. We can quickly set you up with that. You'll see you'll have to agree to the use policy or whatever it's called. Sorry, I don't know the exact name, but once you do that, you're in and you're landed here on the Explorer. And that's really what this tab is all about. It's about exploring inventory. So this is a map of the United States, obviously, and all of the blue tabs represent, the blue dots represent all of the audited inventory that Geopath audits. So that's 52, if you look here on the right, 52 billion impressions, and that's across person 0+. So that's an important thing to note. That's the base that we're always going against, total population 0+. You can see I'm scrolling over. That is the base and how we calculate everything from that. So right now I haven't picked a target. That's why my target composition is showing at 100% right now. So across the top here on these left two tabs, this is kind of where you're doing your who and your where. And then on the right side here, the panel filters is kind of where you're doing your what. That's how I like to think about it. And actually, I stole that from Brian. He mentioned that the other day. I was like, oh, that's a nice way to talk about it. So, it's almost like, again, like a choose your own adventure. You can start from any one of these tabs, and a lot of times you might want to start from your audience first, as we talked about. And here's how it's looking now. So you have your population, your consumer profiles, which is where you'll find all of the auto attributes, the QSR attributes, all of those attributes are in there. And those are honestly currently in a list right now. But again, the usability aspect of this will change. It'll be more like this pretty soon. So these are your population attributes, so your behaviors, so you can see how everything's nested underneath. So commute, bike to work, drive to work, walk to work. Sorry, I don't have that one in there yet. But I like the bike to work because I would often bike to work here in New York. So language is spoken in the home, demographics. So again, you can see how it's broken down. I'm not going to necessarily go through all of these, but I just want to show you how they're represented in here. And then the consumer profile. I'm going to come back to this in a moment, and then just for those, again, who haven't been in the tool yet, I'm just doing a quick overview. So here's where you set your market. These are all DMAs, and you can start to type in and select it. I'm not going to do that just yet. All the media types we audit are here, and everything's nested underneath. So it's showing you how many of that type of media that we audit. So 144,000 plus bulletins, 177,000 junior posters, etc. And then here's where you can look at all the operators that we audit here and how much inventory they have. And then this is where you start to identify your location. So here's where you can click and draw your radius. And then down here below is where your place sets. And you could also even look at different specific geographies. So, if you want to look at a different zip code, that's my zip code here in Washington Heights. And boom, you click that there, and we'll do that a little bit later. But we often get a question like, how narrow can you go? So you can do different things like states as well. I'm going to go back to this really quick. So let's say I'll do Tampa again. So it's starting to show CBSA, DMA, and as I was typing in, I was looking for different counties as well. So again, you can get fairly specific here. And then here's where you add in any panel IDs you want to look at, with the Geopath panel ID or your plant unit ID, and then you can load in your inventory sets or a different scenario. Again, we'll show all of that stuff in a moment. The one thing I always like to talk about is, I think it's really neat if you haven't used the panel ID or the plant ID. It's really cool. You can copy and paste from anywhere into the tool, and it's smart enough. I've copied it from online from the website, just like it'll pick that up. You can copy a column in an Excel file, and it'll interpret that, or even from an email. So it's really pretty smart in that way. So I want to do a couple things. Another way to use this tool is almost like our Inventory Explorer as well. So if you want to figure out, like, okay, I need to know where all of JC2Co's inventory is, just happen to pick them. You can click that there, and it'll show up here on the tool and show you in a moment where it is. Or maybe I didn't hit apply. There we go. Let me see here. Let me just clear out. Let me reset. Okay, I'm back. I'm back here. So I just want to look here and do my operators. Let me see. What else? I'll take it out for the heck of it now. Okay. There we go. So it starts to show up like that, right? And so again, if you just haven't worked with a provider, if you want to see, who else has inventory where, you can easily do that, and I'll just clear that, reset. But you can also do it by just looking at going into a specific market, right? If you want to just start to understand, like, okay, who has inventory in Tampa? I was just there this week. I want to remember who has inventory there. So there's 6,107 pieces of inventory we audit, and you can see here how that is going out by different providers as well. I'm going to clear that again. I'm just going to reset to be safe here. So let's start to look at some of the audiences as we were talking about.
Yeah, we actually had a question about just about the rollout of the audience variables and that kind of thing. And as Scott was mentioning, as we're doing this agile release schedule with every 2 weeks being a new release, we're adding more and more variables each time. And the past couple of releases have been big chunks of variables. And so a lot of what we're doing now is sort of building the house for that all to go in, and then slowly rolling in the variables and also working on the calculations of
being able to cross tab them.
Right. So it is a process. We're in the middle of it, and each new release, there's going to be big chunks of variables getting added. So we're not totally sure when it will be fully fleshed out. It's coming soon.
Right.
We're really in the beginning stages of the crosstab and the really exciting parts of making your own custom audiences, which is really exciting.
Right. And just I think one thing to add, the goal is to have the tool fully capable by the end of the year.
Yeah.
So we're looking to see and have all the attributes in by then. And then, again, we are a member support organization, and the tool doesn't become the currency of the industry until our board approves it, which we're hopefully targeting for the first part of next year, so that within the around conference time. So that's the intended plan right now. Hopefully that's helpful. So a couple things I want to show you here in terms of audience. So as Brian actually just said, there is some level of, we're getting to that point where we're starting to be able to combine different audiences. And when you start to do that, like as you pick any audience, I'm going to pick Speak Spanish at the home. It's showing you what right now in this moment in time that you can combine it with. So I picked that audience. So I want to see what else. So it's going to allow me to do an age. So it's going to allow me to combine people, the person speaking Spanish at home, person's age 5+. And so I can apply that, and I can even save that as a custom audience. So I think I've done this one before, but I'll show you anyway. So you speak Spanish, Spanish, age 5+. Save, boom, success, I've done it. So now I can go to my saved audiences, and that will always be there right here. As you can see, this is one I created today. I created it once earlier. Maybe I don't need this one anymore because I've done it a little bit new. Yes, I want to delete it. Okay. This is my been to Wendy's QSR in the past 30 days. So that's another one that I'm going to delete this one too because I don't need that one. Because looks like I created that yesterday. So now I have 2 saved audiences here as well. So I'm going to clear that. Maybe I don't want to look at that one yet. I want to show you some of the consumer profiles in here. So again, I totally get it. This is a long list of stuff, right? So, but the search functionality is pretty capable. So let's say Sonic is a partner, or we want to target them. So you can start to see like quick service restaurants used for breakfast past 30 days, Sonic, dinner, lunch, other reason, and then just kind of quick service restaurants overall. And then you can look at different things like I want to look at upscale restaurants. So, into upscale restaurant past 30 days. So you can look at categorically. You can look at 4 different types. So Mexican, let's say it's Friday. I want to go out for Mexican. Boom. So again, you can look at it broadly. And then, like I said, I know there's a lot of auto-related characteristics here. So I'm just trying to show you some of those. You know, number of auto repair services in the past 12 months, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So again, there's a lot of different things here that you can start to do in relation to auto. And then here you can see, because I didn't finish typing repairs, I just typed in REP. So you can start to see there's some of the political attributes in here. So political party affiliation, independent, but feel closer to Republican. Political party affiliation, Republican. So there's some level of psychographics in here, as well as kind of party representation as well. So anyhow, cool. So one thing I want to do, I want to focus on start working down towards like a workflow here. So I'm going to do Wendy's, right? So you can see restaurants used for dinner, lunch, past 30 days. So I want to do just restaurants overall, right? And I could apply that, but I'm going to actually just go to my saved audience. So I want to apply that audience. And a lot of times I'll do it at this national level. This is just kind of more of a nice, I don't know if I call it a best practice, but it's something that I always like to do. So I look here and looking nationally, 12 billion target impressions. You can see right now there, I scrolled over it. I'm doing QSR Wendy's in the past 30 days, and it's 23% target composition there. So now I have that in my head, and as I start to dig down into a market, I know, is this market kind of, you have a lot of kind of over-indexing, so to speak, for impressions, under-indexing, so you start to have that in your head. So I'm going to, like I said, I was in Tampa earlier this week, so I want to just go to Tampa again. It's got a lot nicer weather than we're having today. So here we are, 6,907, as we said already. So 233 million impressions of the 1 billion impressions of people 0 plus. So in Tampa, St. Pete, for QSR Wendy's, so that's a 23. So it's right on target, actually. You can see, obviously, on the right side, starting to show, it's automatically right now sorting by target composition %, but maybe I want to look at in-market total impressions. Like, again, this is where you can start to filter and sort, rather than filter, but sort by different types of attributes that you want to look at. I'm going to just zoom in, and if you've seen the tool before, you'll know what's going to happen. You'll start to get a different view. It'll be more looking at all the inventory here. I zoomed in a little too quick. Let me back out. So here's a nice way to easily back out if you don't want to use your mouse to scroll out, in and out here. So all the colors represent different types of inventory here. So bulletins, posters, etc. I'm going to pick, I just want to look at all bulletins right now. Apply. So now I'm just filtering just for the bulletins in Tampa, St. Pete. And so I got that there, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit further. And I want to show you how that changes. Okay, so here you can see, you're starting to see the iconography change, and it's starting to show directionality and number of facings. So you can see here this one where my little hand scrolling over. This one looks like it's got a north facing and a south facing, and there's 2. And the ones here with the black circle represent digital inventory. You can see here. But again, if you ever have questions on anything like that, you can always go to help and find information. So there's a lot of information on the Insight Suite here, the frequently asked questions, modules that are available, things like that. But let me go back here. Another thing that's here are, I always like to plug this because this is something that actually Brian and I are creating. We're doing videos that go right down to the foundation. So what's an impression? You know, what are the different types of impression? This one, this is a little video. They're all built around like 3-minute plus or minus 3 minutes videos, and they all have one pages that go along with them and a little bit more information. This one talks about media across channels. So what's an impression in terms of TV? What's an impression in radio? What's an impression in print, etc. So so there's a lot of information there, as well as other things on what's changing, what's new. Like every time there's a new release, we go through and tell you what's in the new release, etc. as well. So, but anyway, I didn't answer the question that I was coming here for. So what do those icons mean? Right, and there's a little information on that as well. So, like I said, here's an example of the type of information that you can find here. Let me go back here and start to do a little bit more with the inventory here. Brian, is there another question or?
Yeah, it was about sort of some of the different mapping capabilities and specifically audience mapping. Yeah.
In terms of like, hey, I have this population, I want to see like a Florplex map.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is it coming? Is the question?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the ultimate answer. So it is on its way. I don't know that it's this next release, but it's coming soon after, because I really do understand that would be pretty key to what you need. And that said, if you ever need us to help anybody out with that, we can help our members by mapping different audiences for that. We have an interim tool that just, through the Geek Out at geopath.org, you can ask us and we can help you with that. So we're just trying to, as the tool is being developed, we're just trying to be available and help our members as we go along with that. So I want to do a quick sort here. So if you were kind of following as I was talking, I actually changed, I'm just looking at bulletins and posters. I just wanted to clean it up a little bit to give some diversity. I want to look at in-market target impressions, so you can start to see it's starting to filter that way. Reorder on the right side. And as we scroll here, you'll see that the little purple star moves around, so you can start to see the different pieces of inventory and where they're located, and decide, okay, well that's where I want to be. So one of the things I mentioned earlier that we're excited about is this ability to do a radius. So I clicked on that. You click on radius, and let me zoom in here. Oh wait, I didn't hit apply. Radius, apply. There we go. Hopefully it'll work. So sometimes, one thing I wanted to say too is this is definitely a beta tool, and as we've kind of been saying right along, we're adding more and more, and it's getting more and more capable. But also, there may be times where you might see a little glitch, or you might run into it looks like a situation I'm running into right now, where it's starting to churn a little bit, or it's calculating something in the background, or it just isn't functioning the way you expected. What I'd love for everybody to do is just let us know by clicking right here in this bottom right. There's a feedback button, and just let us know, hey, this didn't happen like I thought it would, or it's not functioning as I want it to. So, and right now I'm going to do that because it's not functioning like I want it to. But again, that's why the feedback you provide is really helpful for us, because we look at it all and we do take it seriously, and we're able to kind of fix what the issue was, and kind of we have a list of what's called known bugs in it, and we can go through and so one thing that's super helpful today is our developers are here with us on site, so I'm going to actually have them come in and help me figure out why this is doing this. So I just kind of hit reset. There we go. There we go. All right, so let me try that one more time. I don't know why I did that. I'm going to do my radius. There we go. I'm back. All right, so you can see I have this crosshair here. So I want to do it's at 0 feet now, and now it's starting to, let's say I want to look at 10 miles around downtown Tampa. So let me zoom in a little bit, So let's see. I'll do 10.5 miles. So now you'll see I'm just going to look and focus right on that, within that radius there. So I'm looking at just the inventory within, and here you see 46 million impressions, 198 out of 198 million, so 24. So this area is actually slightly over-indexing, if you want to call it that, for that target of into Wendy's in the past 30 days. So again, we can start to zoom in here and look at it. I want to, let me zoom out one little bit more. So I want to focus on and show you all the information that's available around any one piece of inventory that we have. So I'm going to do this one here. I happen to pick this piece of inventory, and it's clear channel. So it's got two, looks like it's got two facings on it. This is 1 of 2. You can see this is a 2 of 2. So I'm going to click here for more details. So right on the front, you'll see you can have an image and kind of actually see it. And then there's your basic information on it. But you can look at different things. So here's your inventory detail sheet, as we call it. So one of the things that I really like and I'm excited about is this opportunity overview. So right now we're showing this, and we're looking at, we've sorted by in-market, target impressions. So we know this is a piece of inventory that hopefully is fairly high within that target, but then you can start to see what are other attributes that this over-indexes for, right? And we're calibrating this a little bit so you can really, you're not going to get something that way over-indexes, but 2 people do it, right? So we're calibrating this right now to make it be more precise, so you can really look at an index and know that it's meaningful. So top zip code, so this is another feature that I really like. So top zip code, you can see that 44% of its audience comes from this zip code, 33607. And we'll do a little exercise with that in a little bit. But then also here, other DMAs that it's drawing audience from. So again, this is pretty solidly in the Tampa-St. Pete DMA, so the majority of the audience is coming from Tampa-St. Pete, with a little bit, I think Orlando-Daytona is about an hour away or less, so coming from there. And then down here is where you start to see your weekly audience summary, and you start to see your, this is total, but then, you'll start to see your QSR Wendy's audience here as well, and then you'll get your reach frequency and all of those attributes calculated as well here. So cool. I just want to pause and see if there's any questions, Brian?
No, nothing yet.
Okay, cool. Great. So that's a lot of what I wanted to show you. The other, before I move into the places area and stuff like that. So I want to zoom back out quickly. Boom, boom, boom. So we're looking at this radius again, and you can see within that there's 869 pieces of units selected. I'm looking at in-market. Let's say I just want to look at the top 25 by in-market target impression. So again, I'm narrowing that down. Let's say I really like that set of inventory. So let's see, I want to save this as a new inventory set. So this is my Tampa, Wendy's, top 25. And I just want to make a note, well, this is for bulletins and posters. I don't think I spelled bulletins right, but that's fine for now. Yeah, I know I spelled bulletins. Apologies for the misspelling, I just typed it quick. But anyhow, so I have this set there. Boom, boom. And then the next thing we want to do is I want to show you that you can also look at, this was a new feature a couple of iterations ago, but you can look at this in terms of a table as well and start to sort and look at it. You can now drag it so you can have it take up more of the screen. And so right now I'm looking at that set of inventory. So it's looking at that 869 panels. I I've only selected the top 25, so that's all that's shown in my list. And so you can start to look at that, select, deselect all, or just kind of start from scratch and say, I just want to, maybe I want to look at just some of those that have a lot of impressions and a lot that have over-indexed or targeted impressions. So you can start to create a custom list here and then save that as well. So I just want to make sure everybody's aware that exists as well here. I'm going to close this out. Again, we went through that in I think in the June webinar as well, if you wanted to look at that as well. So I'm just going to clear and reset here. And clear. So we can look at all the inventory again. Zoom out for a second. Okay, great. Oh, I just reset everything. So I'm going to quickly pick my audience again. And I kind of did that on purpose, to be honest, because I want to show you how I can just quickly go back and do it. So market. I want to show, I picked my quick service Wendy's, and this time I didn't do it from a saved set of audiences. I just did it for that, for actually going into it, and I believe I have bulletins and posters picked. Right? So, okay. So just like that, I reset and I'm back to where I was. And so now, like I have this set of inventory that I set up here. Zoom in just a little more. Okay. Now that I have all this, I want to start to look at places of interest as well. So again, I know I mentioned that this was in the last release we did this. So I'm zooming into Tampa again, and what you can do is you can load in a set of, let's say, I'd already created a kind of set of inventory in Tampa, St. Pete, so I'm going to apply those. These are all the Wendy's. This is a set of 10 Wendy's. What the tool is doing is you add whatever's in your view of the map, it'll show you 10 of whatever you're looking for. So if there's more than 10, like Starbucks or Wendy's, you can look at 10, you can create a saved set, and then you could actually move the map, clear out of it, which is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to clear everything. And I want to look at more Wendy's in this area. I can apply that. So again, there's some more across here and up into kind of the Orlando, getting on the outside of the Orlando area, and you can actually start to say, add this to another place set. So I want to add it to my Wendy's, Tampa, St. Pete, save it. And I've done that. And so now my list is getting bigger, and we can actually start to use that list. So the other thing you can do is look categorically if you want to as well. But I've got my list, and I want to go back to the tool itself. Go back in, not the tool itself, but the Explore tab again, and go back and start to map these against my inventory. Right, I'm here. So let's say I want to recall that set of inventory. As I mentioned, right, you can do it, you can start to add a radius around each of them. So if you really just want to focus on one piece of inventory, you can, one point of interest, you can do that. But I have my package, my Wendy's Tampa St. Pete package here, so I want to apply that. And you'll see it'll put those in. I have quite a few in here, I think, so probably more than I want. But you can see how it's starting to do that. And let's say, okay, well, I really am interested in this one near Lakeland. And you can start to look in and zoom. I'll zoom out, but again, so right now it's showing just the inventory, just the inventory in a 5-mile radius around this point of interest. It's right near the airport. Cool. So I want to show you in the workspace how you can start to pull in some information like that as well. So like I said, I'm not going to go super deep into this, and I've done more about this in other ones, but you can, I have a set of projects here, and let's say I had a ton and, you know, I couldn't see the entire list, and I just wanted, you know, Wendy, we're pitching Wendy's, so I want to go back to that, I want to find that, okay, great, here's my project. And again, you can name these whatever you like. You know, maybe they're not a prospect anymore. Maybe we're just pitching their new business. We're just pitching for more business, right? Pitching new project, right? So maybe it's a new project. You can see you can tag all these, so then you can search. And then here's your scenario. So essentially what these are your different packages that you put together. So maybe they want this new project, they want a blanket Florida. So we got a package from Tampa, Orlando. We're starting to look at North Florida. So here's some information here, and it looks like I didn't complete it. So let's try to do that now. So here's my Jacksonville inventory that I've set up already. Okay, so this is for, you know, QSR. Let me save that. This is for Wendy's. Oops, sorry. Wendy's. They also want to focus on promoting their burgers. All right, let's say the fries. Okay. Something like that. So again, whatever's appropriate, obviously you can start to do that. Okay, and as we said, we could create a new audience out of this, or this is one of my saved audiences, so I can do that. And the market is Jacksonville, so I'm starting to search. So Jacksonville, Florida. This one's going to start in the new year. So that's January 1. It's going to run for the whole quarter. Do that. You can also do, I hope I went too far, but you can start to do that as well and look at years, etc. So let me jump out of there and I'm just going to go to March, and let's see some different place sets. So I can put like for my, I don't believe I created a Tampa play or a Jacksonville place set, but you can get the sense. So if I'd want to actually click that, and you could do that, or we can go and put a place set. You don't have to put a place set. This is all the inventory I've sorted, so I want to save this scenario right now. Great. And go back, and now you can see all the information there. So the audience, the market, the start dates, end dates, etc. here. If I didn't want to, if I like that one, I wanted to duplicate it, I can. If I needed to edit it more, I can do that here. But we're all set here. So cool, I'm liking this project, but you know what? I think they want to blanket all of Florida. And so let's see if we can add quickly, we're doing on time. Let's see if we can add quickly a scenario from here. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to clear out, I'm going to reset again. Okay, so I want that Wendy's again. You don't have to reset it each time. I just wanted to as a kind of a best practice, clear it out. So I'm doing Wendy's. It's fairly easy to reset everything. Apply. Let's see. Let's do. What else is in North Florida? Jacksonville. Huh. Let's see. Let's go to Miami. How about that? I know Miami is there. Okay. So apply. We'll do South Florida. So I'm going to zoom out. I didn't reset my map. So I'm picking Miami. Come on. So there's a lot of inventory in Miami here. We have all of that. And I want to get back here. let's say I just need to do this super quick. I'm going to come back. I just wanted to capture all the inventory there as it's starting to think about it. So I want to show you how you can actually set up a scenario from this this view of the tool and go back into it. So it's actually caching all of the Miami information right now. Okay, there we go. Great. So I have it there. Great. I'm just going to work with this right now. So I have all my Miami in-market target impressions. Let's say I like this, but I don't have time. I got to get home. It's late. I wanted to just set this up. So let me select here. I want to save as a scenario. So this is my Miami for Wendy's. My inventory set is all Miami. I'm going to fix it later, and I'm going to want to do it, but I want to put it to the Wendy's project, and I want to save it. Oh, so there is obviously a limit. So this is to show you. So, oh darn, now what do I got to do? So there's a lot there. So let me cancel. Let's say, well, you know what? Maybe I'll just look at the top 100 for now. Okay, I could go back and make it different, but you know what? For now, in-market target impressions, top 100, awesome, great. Save as scenario. There you go. So then you just rename it. So Miami top 100. Probably should have used that for the other name, but Miami type top 100. And then I'm going to add it to the parent project. Save. Great. Success this time. And I go back to the workspace, and we'll see my Wendy's Tampa is there, my Orlando, my Jacksonville, and my Miami. So cool. Great. And then I could eventually go back and label all of this as I want to in terms of the audience, etc. So as we did before. So great. QSR. Market is Miami. Miami. Same. This one's going to actually start in February. Go to June. Great. And if I had place sets that I wanted to add in, I could do that. Save scenario. I'm all good. So those are the key features that we released this month. Just want to jump back to the deck and just say one, pause and see if there's any questions, but also let everybody know if you missed any of the webinars. I know I referred back to some of the other ones. You can find them here. This is a screenshot of our homepage, of our website. So you go to the Geek Out tab and you scroll down to out of home office hours, and all of the most recent ones are here. You can also see right here, it says click here where the text is, and that'll take you to our YouTube channel, and you can find any of the other ones we've done in the past. I always been plugging this recently. We did, at the end of July, we did a webinar with 4 planners from 4 member agencies, so Horizon, McDonald Media, OOHOH, and Rapport, and had 4 panelists talking about how they plan and how they buy, and to really give a sense of kind of what data, what information they're using, and how that gets played out in terms of when they're selecting the panel. But anyhow, if you ever have any questions, always reach out to us at geekout@geopath.org. Here's the next set of sessions coming up at the end of next month. So Thursday, October 25th from 2 to 3, as well as Friday, October 26th from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. So again, that's going to be the cadence we're going to try to keep so you can easily plan around these. So always know the last Thursday and Friday of each month, we're going to be doing updates. So geekout@geopath.org. If you need anything, just check in with Ryan again, see if there's any other questions.
Nope.
Cool. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your time, and hope you have a great weekend planned. So thank you. Have a good one.